The Evangelical Presbyterian Church, also known as the Swiss Mission, is celebrating 150 years of service in South Africa. Now, throughout its history, the church has played a key role in education and healthcare, founding notable institutions like the Lemana Teachers Training College and Elim Hospital. Now, for more on this, we speak to SABC News reporter Pimani Baloyi, reporting from Elim in Limpopo for us this hour. So, Pimani, I'm sure lots is going to come from that, seeing that this church has essentially played such a critical role in building communities over the years, effectively extending its hand just beyond being just a church.
Yes, Mtolisi, this church extended a hand beyond just being a church. You can imagine 150 years ago when this church set up its roots here at Valdesia, just outside Elim. This was during colonialism, where we knew colonial government did not care much about black communities. So in this community, the first school that was ever built was built by this church. The first clinic was also, there's also an infrastructure that is still in existence currently that we know the Department of Education in the province has taken over, as well as the Department of Health running that health facility. But there are also hospitals, not just clinics and schools. There are also hospitals, not just in Elim. We know there's also a hospital in what was called Mihlaba, but there's also another one in Akonhoek. Those facilities are still in existence, currently being run by government. So what we understand is that when the Swiss missionaries got to this area, they realized that it was underdeveloped. And in addition to spreading the word about Jesus and Christianity, they decided to also develop these areas. And that's why they created this infrastructure. But today, they are turning 150 years, and we've seen a program. In that program, Limpopo Premier Dr. Poppy Ramathuba is expected to deliver a message of support. She's inside that church behind me with 1,000 other worshippers that are being a part of these festivities. But Mtolisi, according to the program, Deputy Minister Paul Mashatile is also expected to be part of the program. He is yet to arrive. We are not sure if he's still on his way or if he's no longer going to be part of this. But let me bring in a reverend from the church to talk to us about what this church means to this community and what today's festivities are about. Reverend Sombani, Tlangelani Sombani. Reverend Dikensankarwawina, congratulations on this milestone as a church. We've heard that the church has done a lot. As somebody who is closely by to these milestones, just take us through what does the church mean to this community and others in and around rural Limpopo.
Thank you, ma'am, for hosting me. I'm Reverend Sombani, the General Secretary of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church in South Africa. Let me quickly touch and update you that this church, when the Swiss missionaries arrived in this area, they had 4 pillars. And the first pillar being the education, where schools were built around here. And among those schools which were built was Lemana. And Lemana school produced the most politicians. Among them was the first president of Elim, Eduardo Mondlane, and the likes. And the second pillar was health. Hence, we have built hospitals, and the first being Elim Hospital, which is still standing, and also Shilowani Hospital, and also now which is called Mapulaneng in Bushbuck Ridge. And in the process, we had a bursary scheme which was targeting the health professionals. There's a lot more than 10 doctors which benefited from the scheme, and the scheme was 100% funded. And also the nurses, the support staff, were trained by the church in the early 50s. So the third pillar was agriculture, because people can listen to the word while hungry. People were taught how to plant. And then the last pillar was about the relationship with God. Hence, churches were built, churches were founded. So the Swiss missionaries taught us about that. Hence, this program was started on Wednesday, trying to address and to alert the community about those 4 pillars.
Let's talk about today's celebrations. I've seen the program. We expect the Premier to give a message of support as well as the Deputy President. You spoke about your program that ran from Wednesday. We were here on Wednesday. We understand you had a health check where you had doctors who were assisting. Take us through the 4-day program. What sort of help did the church lend a hand as it marked this milestone?
Our main issue was to make sure that the community should benefit from our presence here. Hence, we had an educational expo on Wednesday where the neighboring schools were here. We're targeting the grade 11 students. We had some private colleges, including the University of Venda, where they were taught how to apply for bursaries and how to apply for the intake in the university. Then Thursday, all the sons and daughters and some private clinics were invited. People who have been checked, all the chronics free of charge. Some of them managed to receive even free medication, people of this community. So hence, on Friday, we started with the celebration. And then today we have the likes of our Premier, Poppy Ramatuba, and we also have, yesterday we had the Deputy Minister of Finance. We were told, because the Deputy President was having a commitment in KZN, but should he finish early, he's going to join us today.
Let's talk about the reach of this church. I understand it's been 150 years. It has its ties in Europe. It's a Christian church with ties in Europe from the missionaries. But currently, at some point, I understand it was even called the Tsonga Presbyterian Church. It seemed at first it was targeting Tsonga people. How widespread is it currently?
Yeah, immediately after being called, there was that evolution which took place, which was called by people from these areas who migrated to Johannesburg, migrated to other provinces. So far, we have covered all the provinces, but with a little presence in Cape Town. But the only province that we have not formally established our church is the Northern Cape, but the other provinces, our presence is felt there. We are there. So that's how we came to be known. Remember, when the Swiss ministers came to this area, they were just looking around for an ethnic group. Because remember, the program of the government was to divide the black race, that they did not allow or permit the church to unite the black person. So whenever they arrive in Pretoria, they will say, no, you can't go to this ethnic group. The only ethnic group who was left was the Tsonga, hence they came here in Valdezia. But that was not their first stop. Their first stop was in the Basotho around, and then the vendors. And they were led by the other tribes to come here, but they were told, given a message that you are going to a very difficult community. The Tsonga are drunkards, they love women, they love traditional things. We're not sure if you'll be able to convince them. Here we are, we are not that complicated. Here we are, they convince us, and we are spreading the word of God even today.
As we wrap, Reverend, this is Heritage Month. What would be the main identifying thing of the heritage of this church as it marks 150 years?
On Wednesday, sister, we were dressed up with traditional attire, including our T-shirt. So the heritage that we are having today is that we are accommodating everyone, as long as you understand where we are going, because the main thing that we are trying to preach the word to every nation. If you can look at our liturgy today, it is a mix of Venda, Xhosa, Sesotho, Tsonga, and English, to show that this is a national church.
Thank you so much, Reverend. That's Reverend Tlangelani Sombani, who's telling us the beautiful history and heritage of the EPCSA, the Evangelical Presbyterian Church of South Africa, which today, this year, marks 150 years of existence in South Africa. You've heard the Reverend just talking through the extensive communal work that they've done in South Africa. In this specific village, residents told us that they first saw clean running water after the church's intervention. They even told us that there was a time in the 80s, in the early 80s, when this church even came with technology to produce electricity from this village, and that electricity was used in Luetergat, which is the nearby town from here. So this is the community that is saying they appreciate the efforts that the church has had in empowering it and ensuring that it's uplifted. And these are festivities that have been ongoing for over a week. There was, as the Reverend was saying, there was a career exhibition where universities and colleges came and taught children who are in grade 11 about career paths that they can pursue. But there was also a one day which was set aside for doctors to come to the community and try to help community members, diagnose them, put them on chronic medication to ensure that they live healthy lifestyles. But core to that, you heard the Reverend saying they also encourage healthy eating. They also encourage people having backyard gardens in their homes to ensure that they lead healthy lives.